Welcome, everyone, to the January 28, 2025 work session of Mayor and City Council Hagerstown. The meeting is now called to order. First up, we're going to do the invocation. Mr. Eric Williams is going to lead us in invocation.
Wait,
Yeah, for the regulars,
Oh, that's
We're
for the
gonna do a
regular
work
session?
right now, right.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. No problem.
You know,
Okay, sorry, in just a little bit. First up is going to be our strategic plan. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Scott. Nice one.
We'll try to get this finished up tonight here in the hour, at least to get everything down on paper for the first time, and then we'll bring this back next week at work session, just to, I think, kind of wrap it up for you, and then get it out and published. What you have, what I provided to you tonight is kind of a wrap-up of everything up through last week. We'll start tonight with focus area 4, diversity, equity, inclusion, and any objective you'd like to have put on the list as far as this focus area would be concerned.
so we're just on that tonight? Or-
No, we're doing all of
Oh,
them,
okay.
all the rest of them.
Okay. So DEI first?
Yeah, DEI first.
Okay. Okay, I'll start. Goal to establish, like mentioned before in previous work sessions, to establish a DEI program within the city to promote inclusivity, ensure equal access to services, and support diverse populations. Also to, I know this is brought up by former council member McIntyre, to ensure that Spanish language services and materials are incorporated into our mayor and council agendas for Spanish-speaking residents, and to increase youth involvement, as in our youth council, in more of our city decision-making processes and governance. So bring them in more often.
Let me give you a little info on that. The youth council has identified a student that's going to be sitting in on planning commission meetings starting, I think, this week or next week. And I don't know if they selected last night at their meeting someone to bring to council or not, starting in February. So
Nice.
that's well on the way.
Oh, and also, sorry, one more thing. I know I brought this up before. If we could also include accessibility, if it's agreed by the body, so it'd be like DEIA. Accessibility is like, making sure that those that are, wheelchair bound has access to our events, and also, other measures for those who need a little bit of assistance. If that's okay with everybody. DEIA. I agree.
Okay?
That's all for me for that one. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything on this one?
Yes, I had, and I know me and you spoke briefly about this, promote inclusive vendor selection. So when we do, for any of the projects where they have to do a bid, that we make sure that we make sure that that's included as well. If that makes any sense. Also, definitely that can also go towards our vets also. And training for city staff.
We already do DEI training
Okay,
and
that's what
orientation.
I knew it was one thing that you said that's already done. Is there any way we can just, I don't know if the last administration knows, but as far as the new body, can we understand that more, how
Sure.
that works?
Sure, they can present at a work session.
Oh, perfect.
Sure.
So when, is it like a new hire? So how does that?
All staff went through it maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then it's now currently part of the orientation for all
Okay.
new staff that come in. Okay, anything else on that? Okay, like I said, we'll bring this back, Mayor, if you're all right with it, either the 4th or the 11th. Like, kind of like a wrap up to make sure everything's good before we publish it out. Okay, probably I think next week.
Yeah, and also for public safety, I'd like to see, I think we talked about some ordinances and how that affects the residents and maybe going into that and a little on community policing, because that would be nice too.
Okay,
Under public safety, when we
Yep.
get to that area focus, so. Everything else looks fine to me.
okay,
Ordinances and community policing under public safety.
okay. All right. Let's go to focus area 7, social issues.
This, you know what, someone else wanna go first? I don't wanna, like, doing too much.
No, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. This goal came up during our social issue discussions that we held over the summer. If we could strengthen the reinforcement efforts for the treatment centers in sober homes. That was a gap that was identified by the stakeholders that pretty much gives the flexibility for anybody to just start these homes without that oversight from fire marshals, from us as a government. And also to strategically look into allocating our opioid restitution funds.
You stole my thunder on that one.
Oh, sorry, Mayor. Make that a star. So also to collaborate with our state delegation and community stakeholders to develop a new legislation and programs aimed at addressing gang violence, gang activity, drug-related issues, and juvenile crime.
Okay,
That also came up in our social discussions about the laws that are in place right now. I cannot think of, where's Chief? What's the name of that? The juvenile one.
Envy?
No, the law that Chief. Sorry, can I call on you? What's the law that you mentioned about the juveniles that we need some legislation review of?
I've just heard laws about the juveniles.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
Juvenile justice reform or.
Thank you.
The juvenile justice.
Thank you,
Reform Act.
Councilman, there it is.
Okay.
That one. Yeah, thank you. It's been a long day. Speaking of MB, continue to invest in the MB program, and in furthering, bringing positive alternatives to that program. And working with our lobbyists and state lobbyists where we can to secure resources to support addressing these social issues that we're going to identify tonight.
Okay.
If I could piggyback off of Councilmember Burnett with MB, because I'm not sure how the structure is of it. But I was thinking maybe even seeing if we can get it in more of the schools. Maybe it will be broadened more. I really don't know. I don't know a huge amount about MB, but what I do know is it's needed. But if it's more involved in the schools, or maybe they already know about it, or if they don't know about it, bring it to their attention, and we could probably get a lot more students that could use it.
We could bring them back in here and do a presentation on what the current status and all is
Yeah,
of that program, if that would work.
Yeah, and because it's been a while.
Yeah, it
It's been a while.
has.
They've been making progress, but it would be great to hear from
Okay, we can do that,
It's been a
sure.
while. Chief, that's for you too.
What else? Anything else?
Bring everybody new up to speed on that too. Bring everybody new that's here
Yeah.
up to speed on that as well. Yeah.
Mary, you said you had some?
No, I was just,
Oh, okay.
that's a good point she made to bring us up to speed.
Sure.
Everybody that's new on on the MB program.
All right. So that was 7. 8 Are we good on 7, social issues?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, civic pride. Focus area 8.
Okay.
Here,
Um,
I don't want to go.
I know, right? If we could, for a goal, highlight and celebrate the work of each city department monthly, as in bringing our department, I know for work sessions, there's usually issues or decisions that needs to be directed to staff, but if departments can come on a monthly basis, just to give like a highlight of the wins
Okay.
for the month, I think that would help foster, just our commitment to ensuring that the public is aware of what city government does, what operations are happening.
Okay? I know one other goal we have is to reconstitute the Hagerstown historical recognition that we used to do, that is in Memorial Park down by Bester. Start that back up again. We plan to start having those discussions here in the spring about reaching out, finding some additional names to add to that monument. So that would be something else we could do there.
Now, what's that? What are you referring to?
What it is, it's like recognizing historical Hagerstonian citizens over the
okay.
last 300 years. And then they're on the monument there at Memorial Park across from where the old current Bester, is on South Potomac.
Oh, we also I know Boonesboro had honoring veterans and they had flags of
Yep.
people that, I think we have that too, don't we, or something similar? I think-
We have the banners that hang on, you mean the banners that hang on the street posts?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not a city initiative. That was done through a private
okay.
person, but still, I mean, it's something else that we could look into, sure.
People still do get them. People do get them new every year. When they contact us, we got them to Pittsburgh Printing, who does the printing of the.
Okay. Yep.
It's still in place, but it's not promoted a whole lot.
Go relook at that.
Sure. Anything else on that?
I know we were at one point doing neighborhood cleanups.
Mm-hmm.
We should bring that back.
Okay.
And I think we might have put what I'm about to say in another section, but even still, but the town hall meetings.
So,
But I know that, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that's somewhere else.
I think Councilman Clarity brought that up the last time.
Yeah.
I moved that to community engagement. I mean, that could go in
Yeah, that's-
several
Yeah,
places.
yeah. I feel like that definitely will give each community an opportunity to speak if they don't
Sure.
make it to one of our meetings.
Yep.
They can still voice their opinion.
Anything else on that one?
Did we have establishing different neighborhood first meetings under public safety, or was that under civic?
That is under public safety.
Okay,
Yep, it's under public safety.
okay.
And we could also maybe think about throwing the Citizens Academy under civic pride.
Yeah, that too.
You okay with that?
You know when they're having the next session for that? This year?
It's gonna be in the spring.
Okay.
And we're gonna expand, I'm gonna talk to Chief, hadn't heard this one yet. We'll talk to the staff that run it to expand that more outside of, just HPD and make it more of a city college type of thing. And in an attempt to try to get more people who may want to get involved in commissions, boards, running for office, that kind of thing. Try to look maybe towards a younger, kind of like
Kind of like an expo?
senior HIAC, you know what I mean? Or a young adult, I don't want to, these are students, maybe go to the next level to the more younger crowd and try to attract them, get them before they lose interest.
Right, that's a good idea.
Okay? Okay? Number 9, the arts.
Well, continue investing in the arts and interactive improvements throughout the city. I shared with you, Mr. Administrator, the packet of suggestions that came from Danielle Staley about inexpensive ideas to help create art throughout, like hopscotch. There was one about like having like a hanging type structure on the side of a
Yep.
not side of a building, but it looked cool enough, but still
Yep.
safe. And also continue to foster partnerships with our local artists and organizations when it comes to art events and we have a lot of local talent here. Just continuing to foster those relationships.
Okay?
Or having the Washington County of the Arts come and maybe tell us a little bit of what they're doing in the city. I mean, I know they've come here before, and I think they were speaking to the county commissioners today, so. But I don't, we
The
don't.
Museum of Fine Arts.
Yeah,
did,
Museum of Fine Arts.
But still, Washington County Arts have a new director.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now that Mary Ann Burke's gone, so it'd be good to have
Or maybe
him.
some
We try to
local-
get,
There's like an art gallery down there. I mean, maybe we can get some local people to
Sure.
come in and talk about what they do.
sure.
So,
And I will say, speaking of arts, that when we were in Annapolis, for Dave Annapolis, I think I told you, I ran into Delegate Bear, I believe, from Frederick,
Yeah.
and he said that Hagerstown looks amazing as far as the art, and Frederick should hurry up and catch up. I was like, what? That's pretty cool to hear from Frederick. So a lot of places are recognizing what we're doing here, so
They are.
I just want to share that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else on that one? Okay, last one I have is green space.
I think all of us are pretty agreed with the community gardens. Also I was thinking, I've seen a project where a community literally turned one of their old unoccupied buildings into a growing space. Tall, like, it was upstairs, downstairs. I think it was in Baltimore. So the whole building was used for growing space, but also we can definitely look into and think about the hydroponics. You don't have to utilize no soil. It's a good alternative to it. It grows beautifully. So that's just an idea as well.
Okay?
And piggyback off of Councilwoman Bell, if we could also, while looking at the green space goal or garden, community gardens, to identify the vacant properties, since we have 30-something plus properties that were identified for the tax sales, if there's any opportunities there, we could look into having the garden spaces in that neighborhood. But I would highly recommend that before we settle on 1 or 2 locations, if we get the feedback from the neighbors, to say like, hey, this is something we want to do, can you guys help us with the upkeep? I think that's important to have a conversation with those in the community.
And that would be including Neighborhoods First, if in a community that is served by a Neighborhoods First group, yeah?
Yeah.
speaking of Neighbors First, when I ran mine, it was last year, or the year before that, we did have a group that came in and they planted trees for free, and I know the city probably works with them. I forget the name of the group, but maybe identifying some areas in the city where it could have some more trees in certain areas that people would like to see that instead of seeing a parking lot, so if they have, places to plant them alongside there, so. If they're giving out free trees, I don't see the problem with that.
I know the lots on Jonathan Street, I had talked to the Progressive Men's Club and they said they would be totally down with helping the upkeep of it. There's the plot of land that's kind of like right beside them. they're open to helping and being a part of it.
Okay. So they've got a lot right next door to them, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else? Anything you want to touch on the ones you've already gone through?
I have two items.
Yes, sir.
The first is, I think we need to continue, especially now that it appears that the property, the commercial property, restaurant at Park Circle is transferring ownership, that may open the opportunity for us to revisit acquiring the property that currently holds the several trailers that are in various states of decline, and removing those trailers and returning that to some form of green space
Okay.
to just improve that overall area. The second is, and I've said this before as it applies to civic pride, the arts, green space, whatever you want to call it. You know, when you look at our cultural trail, and I think in most parts of the city, and I just received a book the other week of sort of like the history of Hagerstown, and in it, you know, it highlighted a number of different factories. I think at the time before the 50s, there were about 68 factories in and around the city that produced various types of nationally known, internationally known items. You know, and we don't seem to artistically reflect those items in and around the downtown area. I think it would be really cool to incorporate some type of artistic expression, visual artistic expression, into some of our larger building revitalizations downtown. And I know I use an example, this is probably a bit off the wall, but there are some cities where they'll actually have a model of the item, you know, mounted on the front of the building at a higher level, forces the eye up to look at the upper parts of the building, and gives some, you know, awareness, no different than we did with Hatter's Plaza.
Yep.
That's probably a good example.
Yep.
But you have to stand there and read something. To me, if you could look at things that you know, would draw the eye there and you know, some of that curiosity, I think it would highlight a lot of the buildings that, you know, different folks know by different names over time, but don't know why they have the names that they do.
Yep. Okay.
That's good.
Anything else? All right, I will put these all together, have a complete list for you next week, and look those over, make any changes there. If y'all are good with what you see next week, we'll go ahead and publish this. I'll get it out to the director. We'll start to work on it.
As far as department goes,
Uh-huh.
when will we have an opportunity to hear?
March. Have those end
During
of February.
budget-ish
End of
time?
February.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks for drafting this too.
Yeah, this looks good.
That's good.
Mary, you can adjourn
Yeah,
until the regular session. if
yeah,
you-
say anything else under that?
No, we're good.
You good? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion on anything we went over? Work session? Okay, we're now adjourned.